spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. Nobody has more kinds of cars or more kinds of people. See them at the sign of the cat. By Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire. And by State Farm Mutual. Almost anywhere you live, there's a State Farm agent nearby. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. If you're a Cowboy fan, not so much. If you are a hater of the Cowboys, oh, you're having a great day. I know you are having a great day. It is Gut Punch Tuesday, and this hurt. I'm not going to lie to you. To lose that game in the fashion that we did, and even worse, to lose Overshown, sometimes life just is not right. It's just not right. Overshown, having tore his ACL his rookie year before his first season even started, to rehab and get himself on the field and become a budding great star, to again go through and have another catastrophic knee injury it's tragic. I'm hoping that Overshown's career is not going to be like Sean Lee, and I don't mean to jinx it like that, but Sean Lee was one of the best linebackers that was out there. His mind was always there. He knew where to be. Instinctually, he was great, but his body just could not hold up. And I'm fearful that how catastrophic this injury may be. We're talking about now the tail end of the season. When he tore his ACL last year, it was in the middle of training camp. I think we had only had like one preseason game. So he had a full year to recover. Now, we're talking about the middle of the season. You don't have as much time to get there to get back on the field, and we don't know how bad it's going to be. So definitely prayers up for Overshown. And Overshown last night tweeted out that he wouldn't wish this on anybody. Send prayers. And you could see how emotional Micah Parsons was after the game last night. And, it is freaking insane the amount of holdings that happen on Micah Parsons on a regular that never get called. And I say never get called. Look at this. This is freaking ridiculous. Look at Micah Parsons being. Look. Are you going to tell me honestly that Micah is not being held here? The guy's got his hand in his back. Look at this. Look at this. Are you telling me that's not holding? It's not holding. It's not holding. This is what we get week after week over. Even the telecasters are like, well, that looked like a hold. That looked like a hold. How many freaking holds do teams get away with? Look at that. Look at that. Look. Am I the crazy one? From Jump Street, he grabs a hold of, look at that. You see his arm? Look. Let me just grab here and hang on for dear life. He's beat. He's literally up underneath his shoulder pads, holding on for dear life. He is literally behind him, people. It's insane, but that's what we have to deal with as Cowboys. That you get no respect and you get no calls. Micah Parsons, the Cowboys, I'll be honest with you, I think the Cowboys risk losing Micah Parsons. If I'm Micah Parsons and I've gone through this shitstorm, I don't know why I stay here. Well, it's like, as he put it, I don't know what it is, karma or whatever, but it's crazy. Listen.
Here's Micah Parsons.
Wow.
I wasn't even really grasping what was going on. Nick made a great play, and I asked the ref, explain what happened, and he told me that we touched the ball. It was definitely a huge momentum shift. I mean, we just caught a huge stop. We're going to 2-minute drill. It's just real hard to you think to believe you could pull that game out from that situation. That hurts.
You say you really wish the sign does it just feel like it's snowballing this year? Everything just seems to be
between the players, I mean, so many situations. It's just, I don't want to say it's snowballing, but I don't know. It seems like we're paying a dude that's not fair. I don't know if it's bad luck, karma, but in terms of the work ethic, everyone's working so hard. I mean, I think we really did well. We could have did a little better containing. I think we gave up some points, but I mean, you tell me we hold Joe Burrow to 20 points and 2 minutes left with our offense, the way he was moving the ball today, I think we could win the game. Dog, I cried. It's like my little bro. Like, he don't deserve that either.
Oh, man.
He really don't. So, just to understand what he's going to have to go through and to be there for him physically, mentally, is just so challenging because he's so talented. The year he was having, I mean, I really just don't think that's fair either.
The house for losers.
As Troy said, it's tough business, and injuries are part of it. And the Cowboys now.
This sucks, man. We are literally in hell now. So, what I said yesterday, going through before this game, I said that this game shapes where we go from here. 2 wins. All of a sudden, everything's hunky-dory with the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy. Oh, everybody wants to bring back Mike McCarthy, and everything feels great and wonderful and everything, kumbaya moments. You lose, and you lose in that fashion. And here's where you have to question some things. On the last drive that we had, Rico, who had a career night, Rico, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I believe he had over 130 yards, was getting 7.3 yards a carry. You open up that drive with a run with Rico, and he picks up 15 yards. First down. And then you proceeded to throw and throw and throw on a night that we had struggles in the passing game. We had struggles in the passing game all night long, and we throw 3 times. that one I got to go back to Mike McCarthy and play calling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts on that one. To me, if there's times to be more prudent than others, and when there's times when you have a hot hand, you need to stick with it. Rico was the hot hand. They could not stop us. They could not stop Rico all night long. You had a lot of time on the clock to move the ball. You didn't need to be in a hurry. That was the time to go ahead and say, let's run the football. We didn't. And it hurt us. Mistakes kill us every time. This team is not, with all of the injuries out there, not talented enough to overcome the slightest thing. I still believe that Diggs, that was a fumble. That was a fumble. That should have been our ball. Didn't call. All of the holdings on Micah Parsons, not called. Called one. And I just showed you how egregious these holds are. I'm sitting literally 25 feet away from the television across the room, and I can see him from here. And my eyesight's not that good anymore. And a rookie not knowing the rules. Leon letting it. To have an agonizing defeat, it's kind of like we're being punished. We're being punished because it's bad enough to lose, but to get a taste, just like that, and you think, oh my God, maybe this is it. And it doesn't happen. I guess the bright spot on this is, at the moment, we move up in draft position, but I think that this ends up bringing more change to the team and the rosters. And again, losing an Overshown is now going to be another hole to start next year with. And this is where it's doom and gloom here with the Cowboys. We're going to finish this morning video off with the people from ESPN.
20. Here was Jerry Jones after the game on the crucial punt play.
We all would say, well, why block the kick? Just take the kick and get within field goal and kick it. We'll all be second-guessing that one. After blocking the punt, we touch the ball. That's all should be figured in before you decide to block the punt. Especially you weigh your odds up against catching the ball on a kick and getting it back out and getting within a field goal range. So that's all there is to say about it. We can all second-guess that.
I'm sick of Jerry.
Okay.
I'm sick of Jerry.
You can't be more wrong. Okay. You can't say it any more incorrectly than what he's saying right there.
Yeah.
It's a tie game. What are you? You don't want to block punt. How many meetings have you ever been on, especially like, hey, if you got to block, peel off. Let's let the returner get it and see if he can. How many muffs do you have as a return as opposed to a blocked punt? Jared. Stay off the mics, bro. Stay off the mic. We have lost it. We're off the rails.
It's very difficult to block a punt. And
I
think the odds of you winning go up dramatically if you get a block punt. It's essentially a turnover in that short end of field, especially when there's 2 minutes left. So the block is okay. I don't think we should talk about Jerry's comments because it's nonsense. The problem is where the mistake is the first day of punt block install. This is what we discussed. Yeah. The ball goes past the line of scrimmage. You call fire. You get away from it. If it's on the other side of the line of scrimmage, knock yourself out. But once it goes past the line of scrimmage, as Greeny said in the highlight, you treat it just like a regular punt because it's still a punt. Right. If there was a fumble, it's something different. But we know, anyone who's ever been on special teams knows that that's the first thing you discuss in a special teams meeting is when we are blocking punts, if it goes past the line of scrimmage, don't touch it. Their side of the line of scrimmage, scoop and score. That's it.
And they do it every week. The special teams coaches go over this every week. Block, and then they'll throw a ball just over the line of scrimmage, make it kind of, ambiguous. Hey, is it close? Is it not? stay away, stay away. It's not a gray. It's not a gray. It's very clear. You get away from the ball.
Football happens fast, though. And I think my guy just reacted.
No, I hate it. I
always like when the guys that played affirm what I believe, right? Like, I'm sitting here thinking, yes, I think it's a good thing to block a punt. And Jerry's like, nah, maybe not. And these guys are like, yeah. So yeah. No, I think that was the mistake was after.
Okay, so the first thing we have established here is that blocking the punt was a good idea.
Yeah,
what ensued was a bad idea. What ensued after the game was devastation for a Dallas Cowboys team that, whether we believed it or not, felt like they were coming on and felt like they still had a chance. And last night is the end of that. And here was Micah Parsons after it was over.
I'm really soaked this one. This one hurt me more than any loss this year. Probably even worse than a playoff loss, to be honest. Because where we were going, how we were playing, playing good football. I'm going to sit on this, but, I have to find a way to keep these guys alive.
Leadership in different ways. Different guys lead in different ways. Micah Parsons is very much like Micah focused in his leadership, and he has to do this and he has to do that, which is fine if it works for that team. It's an important thing because he and everyone around this team, I think, believes that they have something there. So they have to keep it alive and keep proving it for the next couple of weeks. And it's a real test. It's a real character test for teams like this and players like this, is how hard they're going to play. And they've been passing it up to this point. For whatever reason, this game was such a tough loss that it feels like it's going to be harder for them to come back from.
Yeah, and I think they had put, and you heard Mike McCarthy talk about, they had put all in for this game. And so when you put all your emotions and you play well enough, and then you have a fluky play, because that's just what it is, right? It's kind of a wild play. Now, the defense has got a hold after that turn. There's a lot of things that should have happened that don't happen, but it's a painful way to lose. You're very emotional. And again, your dreams are literally dashed. I mean, and to Nick's point, now you got to really show what the character of this football team is for the next month or so, because it's all for naught. You still got to show up and play, though.
I think there's a sense there, right, of like they're so short-handed, right? Like they don't have their quarterback, right? They don't have their Hall of Fame offensive lineman, Zach Martin's missing this game. Overshown, one of their best defensive players, goes out in that game, serious injury. So you get that close with like the group, the banged up group, the backup group, right? And you're like, oh, we had it. Wouldn't it have been great to win with this group and show that what we have inside of us? And then I think that's what the disappointment is. But they're in a very strange place because they're thinking about transition. They're thinking about who's going to be on next year's team, even as they're still trying to win this year's game.
Well, I mean, that certainly begins now, right? And obviously, look, the Cowboy conversation.
For the front office, once they figure out the punt thing.
It should have started last offseason. We've missed it for dang near a year now. Let's see if we can dial this thing in. We got Jerry talking about punt block. Jerry, stay off the mic. Stay off the mic.
I'm not going to lie to you. Losing the Cowboys last night as we did is tough for me as a talk show host. I didn't think anything could make me laugh like that today, but that was a very good line. So the Cowboys, look, can you just give a quick description? And this does not just apply to them, because there were quite a few teams now, and the Cowboys join that list now, of teams for whom it is hopelessly over. There are teams that we ruled out weeks ago. But until you're really out of it, you're still feeling like you're in it. Now, as of that moment, 2.5 minutes left in that game.
Yeah.
Here we come.
Absolutely.
Punt block, disaster, Jamar Chase. Now it's literally over. What is it like in that locker room? What is it like this week?
It's devastating, and it's gut check time. And the reality is you have 20-some-odd players who are going to be up for free agency. Your coach doesn't have a contract. So now it's all in the open. And guys are realizing, hey, I'm not only playing for this team, I'm playing for 31 others that I better show I can play in this league and need to play in this league. It is a time where you really see what players are about. Because the guys like let's be honest, Micah Parsons ain't gonna have a hard time finding a job. He's gonna be a Dallas Cowboy. It's the tweeners, right? It's the guys that aren't really sure what this is gonna look like. It becomes very difficult, and the intensity in the locker room escalates tremendously.
Yeah, it's hard to motivate. I think coming in, you're like, we can do something. We can do the impossible. Yeah. And now it's actually impossible. So it's harder to motivate. And I think for guys like Micah Parsons, it's the hardest guys to motivate because those guys are, they're secure. But it seems like he's very locked in, and hopefully the rest of the team can be also.
In the meantime, one of the things that you got a chance to see last night is one of the greatest seasons any quarterback has ever had that is going to be forgotten the moment that it ends. Can we put up A28, please?
A28. Call for it.
Joe Burrow is having the kind of season that people should remember for a very long time. And here's the example of why. This is the company that he keeps. 4 consecutive games of 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Steve Young, Patrick Mahomes, and Peyton Manning are the only quarterbacks ever to do that. Look what those teams all were in the seasons in which they did it. And look, these Bengals are 5-8 and put up 829.
Oh, no.
Because it gets even worse. The Bengals have 3 of the best players in the league. They may have the 3 best players at their respective positions. Joe Burrow leads the NFL in passing yards and touchdowns. Jamar Chase is in position to be the 5th player since the merger to win the receiving triple crown. Catches, yards, and touchdowns.
Wow.
And on defense, Trey Hendrickson leads the league in sacks. No team since sacks became official in 1982 have had the league leaders in all 3 of these categories. And yet this team is 5-8.
Yeah.
Someone explain this to me.
But they got a
They've
victory
lost a
over
lot
the
of close
Cowboys,
games.
so there's
and their defense outside of Trey Hendrickson is, to use a technical term, not good. They have struggled to stop people. And look, and it's not just the defense. Every highlight that Burrow's in, it's 3rd and 20. Like the pass protection, it's year 5, and they still haven't figured out pass protection in Cincinnati. So it's a roster that got thin, especially on defense, seemingly overnight. And when you go back to that Super Bowl run, which is now 3 years ago, the defense was a critical aspect of that, and they're not able to stand up and help in this year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate what's happening to Joe Burrow right now. However, the issues that he's had in some of these situations, the mistakes that he makes are in late game situations. I will say this about those big numbers: it's real easy to put up. It's a lot easier to put up big numbers when your defense stinks. When you're always down by 2 touchdowns and the opposing defense is in a preservation mode, and Joe Burrow is eating them alive. And it's also real easy when you have Jamar Chase. I think back to that Ravens game where it felt like you could do no wrong. Throw it in that guy's direction, and he's going to blow it up.
Yeah, it is disappointing, though. When you see records like this, all 3 players, it's devastating for seasons like this. To Neek's point and to Graz's point, this is a bad defense. And they haven't done anything to help themselves. Like we talk about the Cowboys and the negligence they showed in their defensive front, no different from the Cincinnati Bengals. They have not helped their coordinator. They have not helped their football team at all. And it shows. And Jimmy's and Joe's matter. And I know everybody thinks that coaching is all this. At some point, it's about the players, and they have neglected a very important part. That's the 2 trenches, and that's why they're showing up with the way they are at 5-8.
Joe Burrow will be 28 years old tomorrow. We'll see what the future holds for his team. He's an unbelievable player.
Okay, so there's that. All right, good people. I don't know where we go from here. This has just been. I'm sure there's been worse seasons. I don't know that I've been with doing YouTube the way I do YouTube, where I am literally living and dying with every single play in every game. It probably just hits home more now. And of course, as you get older, your memory fails about a lot of things. And it's just been bad. We got 4 games left. We have had more injuries compiled and ineptitude on so many things. I don't know where we go. I just hope that we try something different. That we're not going to go through and say, well, it's just extenuating circumstances, but, we're right there. We're right there with what we – no, we're not. We are not. We need major changes here. And like I said, if you win that game yesterday, things look a whole lot different than when you're a loser. I'm Mark Holmes, and, shout out to Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons – he left it all on the field. He is doing everything that he can. And hats off to Overshown.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Brought to you by Lincoln Mercury. Nobody has more kinds of cars or more kinds of people. See them at the sign of the cat. By Goodyear, makers of the custom Steel Guard radial tire. And by State Farm Mutual. Almost anywhere you live, there's a State Farm agent nearby. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.